This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the LD Micro Invitational 2015 in Bel Air, California. I have with me Tony Cataldo, Oxis Biotech Inc. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is OXIS. Tony, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you, Shelley. It's really wonderful to be here, and thanks for the invite.
You're absolutely welcome. Let's get an overview on Oxis.
Oxis is a biotech company, and there are many biotech companies out there, and we've kind of joined the fray. I've had a lot of experience in creating biotech companies and turning them around over the last 20 years. We're an immunotherapy company, and I like technologies that have novel capacity to them, that actually have the most two important aspects in biotech that you need. One is data, real data that you can report on, that's validated. And the other is recognizing that you really have one customer that you have to make sure that they're happy. It's the FDA. And so often I say to all biotech companies and folks that I get calls from, that you really have to plot your strategy according to those two items. And if you do that, you can do well in biotech, and you can get some life-saving technologies out there to people who need it.
So, that's all really good information. Let's drill down a little bit more into the technology of Oxis.
Yeah, Oxis currently, we've publicly announced over the last several months, we have two platforms right now. One for multiple myeloma, which is a very large market, $21 billion plus per year, being serviced right now by three major big pharmaceutical companies, which includes Takeda and Celgene, Onyx, etc. And it's a huge problem in two ways. It's a serious cancer indication that kills a lot of people. Also, one of the major side effects of multiple myeloma outside of the tumors is that it creates osteoporosis, which is the lack of bone density. It decreases bone density, and you can literally break somebody's shoulder just by patting them on the shoulder. The drug that we brought in is from the University of Pittsburgh, Dr. Sean Zai, who is the Associate Dean of Pharmacology. The data, again, I focus always on data. The data is fantastic. It shrinks the tumors, as well as it, oddly enough and thankfully enough, it actually creates bone density while it does this. This makes it really novel. No other drug out there in the market, approved or unapproved. The other indication is for triple-negative breast cancer. Out of 100% of breast cancer out there, 30% of breast cancer is triple-negative breast. This is a death sentence to women. Generally 100% fatal. There's ways of kind of alleviating some of the symptoms, but it's not curable. We've come across a technology which we have announced. It's called an ADC. This is the wave of the future. Big Pharma loves it. Antibody conjugates, and we're able to take the technology that we have and a patent that we just filed actually recently, and that patent covers a number of indications, particularly for triple-negative breast cancer, and it's a targeted cancer therapy. It is a drug, all right, and what it does is it carries a payload with it targeted directly to the triple-negative breast indications. I could get into that, but most of your audience, unless they're physicians or clinicians, wouldn't understand it. But suffice it to say that it's a targeted cancer therapy drug that actually hits the target, creates a tremendous amount of yield, and has really great data supporting that, building bone density at the same time.
Let's talk about data.
All right.
What differentiates your data, and what qualifies your data as being good data?
Right. Well, anybody who touts their own data is not good data. All right. The only data that really matters is published, reported data in the form of peer review articles. The data for our triple-negative breast cancer came out of the British Journal of Medicine. The data for Dr. Sean Zai was reported in many of the periodicals. He's very well published for multiple myeloma. And then data that comes from the FDA.
You're not a giant company yet. Why, of all of the companies out there that would probably be chasing this technology, how did you end up with it?
It's very similar to the last company I founded, which is called Lion Biotechnologies. Trading symbol, and that's LBIO. When I started Lion, I'm using the same model. When I started Lion, I decided that I found data from the National Cancer Institute, Dr. Stephen A. Rosenberg. And Steve is probably at the top of the food chain when it comes to oncology. And the data was so profound, I couldn't believe that the technology wasn't being prosecuted to go through to the FDA. So I went to Dr. Rosenberg. There were already several large companies, including Big Pharma, trying to circle the wagons on it. He was very careful about who he wanted to find a home for that. What I did was I put together a team. And with that team, it included Dr. Jim Muley, who runs the melanoma clinic out at Moffitt Hospital, is also chairman of the OBER committee, the advisory committee that approves drugs for the FDA. Went to Dr. Patrick Hu's with MD Anderson, Dr. Mario Schnoll with Yale Medicine, Dr. Dan Powell with the University of Pennsylvania, Dr. Cassian Yee out of the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Institute. And I circled the wagon, and Dr. Jeffrey Weber, also with Moffitt. All of these very prestigious oncologists and clinicians trained under Dr. Rosenberg. So when I presented him with a team that he felt very comfortable with it, and he was really wanting to structure, and we ended up licensing it from the NIH and the NCI. The market cap was very small at the time, much like the question you're asking me right now. Market cap was just 10 million, maybe 15. Eventually now the market cap's over 500 million, which goes to show you I might know what I'm doing, and even a stop clock is at least right twice a day.
I love that expression. I use it all the time. So what's going on next? I mean, you've got the technology. You're in a publicly traded company. You know, what's the direction you're going to take the company now as the leader of this team?
Yeah, well, it's similar. Again, I don't want to talk about Lion too much because, been there, done that. But it's similar in the model in that at the time, cell therapy was really not quite well understood. There was some questions as to whether the FDA even understood it. And of course, the FDA has a bunch of smart men and women, and they do understand it. They just at that time hadn't articulated the roadmap. I was able to get the roadmap from them, and I built that. The same thing now holds true with some of the new immunotherapies. We are an immunotherapy company. The differences between the two genres is cell therapy is a personalized medicine. It's one patient, one personalized therapeutic regimen, which includes T-cell therapy. Immunotherapy is one drug for all people. And more importantly, the new targeting methodologies, BiKE and TriKE technologies, are out there. And leverageable ADCs, which we already have a platform for. And so I wanted to take another new technology that wasn't quite well understood yet, but is on the forefront of what's about to happen. And I wanted to put the band back together and do it again. So essentially, I'm doing that now.
Now, let's get some information out to our audience. Let's get a website out there.
It's Oxis, OXIS.com. It's very simple. That's our website. It's constantly being updated because we're adding more and more platform technologies. The value of any biotech company is really all about the patents. And so in patent technologies, you have to do your homework up front. A lot of companies put together very formidable product lines, but haven't done their homework in the initial part. We use DLA Piper. Dr. Lisa Hale is our patent attorney. She's also a microbiologist, and in this business you do get what you pay for. So we make very sure that all the patents that don't have any holes in it, that they're leverageable, and that when you're 5 years down the road and Big Pharma is looking at buying you out or marketing with you, that they can't shoot any holes in it. I've always said if you want to be a senator, you got to act like a senator. So in biotech, you need to make sure your patents are robust. So we've done that. We did that with Lion, and we're doing that with Oxis. And that's, the plan is to advance this in the same format. Oxis is, currently over-the-counter QB company, and it's moving forward. We will, set our targets on going on to the main listing on NASDAQ. There's a lot of fundamental things that you have to do, and if you look at our website, and more importantly, our corporate filings with the SEC, you'll see all those building blocks. Most of them have already been put in place, and several of them are being put in place right now.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Cataldo, Oxis Biotech Inc. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is OXIS. I'm Shelly Kraft. This is SNN Live. We're coming to you live from the LD Micro Invitational 2015, Bel Air, California. Tony, I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to wish you luck.
Oh, thank you very much, Shelley.
It's good to have you.
All right, sure thing. Thank you.